My name is Samuel. Sam. And then I told him that Bombardier is a French musical, now having a successful run in Berlin. Many people come to the city to see it. Can you imagine? All because of Bombardier, the Paris Commune, or some such piece of history. Nowadays, 2 nights in a hotel plus musical, all inclusive, and that there already had been problems since. At this station, Bombardier is advertised only with this one word, without comment. It had even been in the newspaper, I said. I recall that it claimed the word gave rise to false associations. There was even a court case that grew out of the city's dispute with the musical. Linguists were called in, imagine that, to assess the potential of this word to incite violence. And the court delivered the verdict in favour of the freedom of advertising. I believed what I was saying more and more, although I had no idea what this Bombardier on the arc of the central station meant, and where it came from. But as I was speaking so enthusiastically and offhandedly and saying things I would certainly not define as a lie, my imagination took wing, and I drifted further and further without the slightest fear of going over the cliff, coiling and recoiling into the curves of this verdict that had never been pronounced, because those who don't lie can't fly. "Where are you travelling to?" the old man asked me, and I told him everything without a second of hesitation, with the kind of verve I might use to excoriate some other musical. I talked about the Polish city my relatives had moved from 100 years earlier to Warsaw, and then farther east, perhaps solely in order to bequeath to me the Russian language, which I was now so generously passing along to no one. Dead end and halt, so I have to travel there, I said, to one of the oldest cities in Poland, where they, the forebears about whom nothing is known, had lived for 2, 3, or even 4 centuries, perhaps since the 15th century, when the Jews in this little Polish town had been granted privileges and become neighbours, the others. "And you?" Sam asked, and I said I am Jewish, more by accident than design. "We're waiting for that train as well," Sam said after a brief pause. "We, too, are taking the Warsaw Express. Taking this train, which looks like a thoroughbred horse as it looms up out of the fog, an express train that moves according to schedule but against time, into the zone of Bombardier. For us only, I thought, and the old man moved on to say that his wife was looking for the same thing, namely the world of her grandmother, who had come to the United States from a small white Russian village outside of Biała Podlaska. And yet it was neither his homeland nor his wife's. 100 years have gone by, and many generations, and none of them knew the language any more either, but still Biała Podlaska sounded to him like a forgotten lullaby. God knows why. A key to the heart, he said. And the village is called Janów Podlaski, and hardly anyone had lived there besides Jews, and now only the others, and they were both going there to take a look at it. And he really did keep saying "and" again and again, as though he was stumbling over an impediment. Naturally nothing remained there, he said, naturally and nothing, in order to emphasize the senselessness of his journey. I, too, often say naturally or even innately, as though this disappearance or this nothingness was natural, or even self-evident. The landscape, however, the names of the places, and a stud farm for Arabian horses that has been in existence since the early 19th century, established after the Napoleonic Wars, and the top choice of the experts, everything was still there, they told me, as though they had Googled everything. A horse could cost a good $1 million there. Mick Jagger had already taken a look at horses from this stud farm at an auction. His drummer bought 3, and now they would be going there, 5 kilometres from the Belarusian border. Thank Google. There was even a horse cemetery there. No, the Jewish cemetery was not preserved. That was on the internet as well. "I'm a Jew from Tehran," the old man said in English as we were still standing on the platform. "Samuel is my new name."